21 Convention, Tampa, Florida. We are here with our second keynote presentation, and this speaker has changed the lives of so many men, and especially attendees, people who've watched the 21 Convention at home, have been massively moved by this gentleman's presentations. I've heard it over and over again as walking away with one of the best speeches of the convention year after year, and we're about to witness it again this year. Here we have Socrates. Come on the stage, my man. Awesome introducing you, and I can't wait to watch what you got.
My name is Socrates, and I am here to champion a cause. It is a cause and also a pathway that has been terribly degraded and demised in recent times. It is also a pathway and a destination that I hope changes in our society. But at this time in life, in where we live, it is immensely a dangerous environment. And I don't mean it facetiously. I mean it is terribly a risky endeavor. I'm not talking about a vision, but a reality. It is a pathway that can be followed because other people have already set the trail. It is a destination that can be achieved because others are there right now. I'm here to champion a cause, and I want this writ large in your lives. Take a look. This is tenable. This is achievable, but you're going to have to want it. This isn't just a lovely couple. These are not models. These are real people. In this particular case, these are our very own Anthony and Mary Lee. They're in this room right now. For those people at home, you don't know that, but they are here. This is a real couple. This isn't going to be something easily achieved. It is going to have to take agency. You're going to have to own this. You're going to have to want this. You're going to have to choose a partner willing to commit to this. It is not just a momentary element. You just don't get a highlight. This is not just a snapshot. In this particular case, it is. It is a one-off event. If you want this for your entire life, this has to be a daily commitment. Every day, you need to make sure you are dedicating yourself and your partner is dedicating themselves to this destination, to this reality. Then you have a series of snapshots that create a movie, a fairy tale movie that is that sustained, but it has to be a result of a process. I talked about wanting this to be a cause, and it is. All right. As a cause, I believe movements need to be terribly personalized. I just can't point to this and say, this is what I want to achieve. I need each and every one of you to feel that this is a possibility in your life. That you have the ability to be able to command this, to be able to control this, to be able to replicate this. As such, this movement needs to be personalized, and I want to make sure you can project yourself into this situation. And if we're going to do that, it would be helpful if we had tools. One of the most important, I believe, is you're going to need to be able to know your location. You need to be able to identify where you exist in the sexual marketplace. Because if you don't know, you're lost. If you don't know where you're at, you are lost. The second is, I need you to be able to determine your objectives by your standards. Not mine, not something I'm selling, but your own. You need to determine where you want to go, who you want to do it with, and where you want to end up. As such, you need to be able to have the objective defined, and you need the location of that. The second is, you're going to need to determine to what degree how you get there. Usually it's a straight line. That's the shortest distance. It may not be the most appropriate path. This will also be a path, not just a vector processing. You'll need to be able to make a decision which route you want to take, just like a map. Likewise with a map, you need to understand the environment in which you're going to be doing it in. You're going to need to understand the obstacles, when you can expect those obstacles, and how you're going to face and prepare yourself to go around them. Because sometimes they're going to stand in the way of your objectives. You need to be able to make conscious decisions on how to avoid that. Very much like avoiding a downtown area during traffic rush hour. You need to be able to understand that for the sexual marketplace. Ultimately, it is going to be a tool that needs to be simple and that you can carry inside your head. You need to be able to act on this on a regular basis, to be able to identify where you're at, where you want to go, the path you need to take, and the resources you need to apply appropriately to get there. Now, what would that look like if we're going to be doing a map? I happen to like science. I fucking love science. And one of the most powerful sciences out there is biology. All right, what does biology tell us about the sexual marketplace? All right, there are going to be three major drivers. These are going to be the alpha traits, okay, and they're primarily geared towards natural selection, okay, that's the overall key. This is where we talk about Darwin and natural selection, all right, and they're going to be focused in on provision, or survival, provision, then seduction. Now, breaking those down a little bit, when we talk about survival, we're talking about the physical manifestations and dimorphisms, your physical ability and physical fitness level that you project. Are you a healthy individual? Are you a virile individual? Are you fertile? Okay, these sort of things that are connotated biologically. The second is going to be status dimorphisms. You know, your degree in which you actually are projecting your ability in standing within a society. Are you successful? Are you not? Are you going to be able to provide based on that? What are you telegraphing about yourself biologically that would give everybody an indication, body language, okay, that you would be a responsible and viable mate? The third one is associated with seduction. These are sexual displays. These are overt sexual displays for enticement, arousal, and attraction. All these are terribly well known. They're completely incorporated into mass culture and accepted into our consciousness if we know what these things are. Okay? These are also what we refer to as alpha traits. So when you hear somebody talking about alpha, these are the traits they're responding to. My concern here is that fact if you just focus on the biological traits, you are either hot or you're not, or you're dominant or not. We know there's a lot more to life. Okay? What do we know about these elements? Actually, I'm going to skip one, sorry. What do we know about natural selection and biology in relation to the human condition? What does biology tell us about that? Well, how about this? That you should respond naturally to your dominant sexual role. Men should be dominant, women should be passive. All right? Not only that conflict is a natural state of being. Conflict. Doesn't sound like a nice place. How conflict are we talking about? How about this? Murder, rape, infanticide are all natural, very natural biological responses for you to be successful. Nature is filled with these examples. Not only that, sneaky breeding, adultery, cuckoldry, those are equally viable options to spread the gene pool around. This isn't a virtuous environment. This is a natural environment. And nature's a bitch. Nature's a deadly, violent place. It is a harsh, brutish reality. And the people that live on this domain are equally as brutish and violent. What stands in contrast to this world, to this environment? Civilization does. And it's the hallmark of human achievement. And when we study these traits associated with social selection, those elements are associated with teamwork, stability, and intimacy. We also know them also by, when we talk about teamwork, relationship skills. These are skills designed to reduce tension, to reduce anxiety, and to reduce violence. When we talk about stability, we're talking about relationship management skills. How do you manage those relationships? How do you provide for a quantitative ability to maintain that situation, the presence of a particular standard? When we talk about managing things, we're talking about maintaining productivity. We're maintaining the objective. You have to manage those sort of things. When we talk intimacy, we're talking about those things that are associated with developing rapport, connection, and a fondness for. So when we are talking about social selection, it is diametrically opposed to your human, natural, biological instincts. These are virtuous traits. When we talk about people being virtuous, they're exhibiting these traits. They're not exhibiting biological traits. If you want to be a virtuous person, you need to live in the vertical domain. All right. This is our matrix. This is the ball field. XY axis, natural selection on the bottom. Vertical selection is social selection. The horizontal axis are the alpha traits. These are the things when we talk about alpha behaviors. They exist along these sides. Men and women exhibit alpha traits. It's not gender biased. There will be differences within the gender, but there will be equally as powerful. On the vertical axis, we have the beta traits. These are elements that are pro-social in nature. Okay? They're pro-civilizing. They're there to help people survive. These are areas in which we have people actually have sex roles. We actually talk about task allocations. We talk about being able to nurture an environment, to actually make it safe for people to respond and to grow children and raise families in. So this is our field. This is where we're existing at. Now, to a little bit further understand it, I actually like to look at the extreme ranges to kind of get a feel for this ballpark, this area in which we exist. And so one of the things I would like to do right now is to be able to look at the individual outliers, take an extreme corner. So what do we have over here? Who lives over here? The people over here are low end on the biological responses. They're not physically appealing, okay? They're not necessarily having status displays. They're not concerned with the hallmarks of standing in their role in civilization, okay? We also know they're horrible at elements of seduction. They just don't know how to convey themselves in a sexual manner. They don't have control of it. But on the flip side,
Come on the stage, my man. Awesome introducing you, and I can't wait to watch what you got.
my name is Socrates, and I am here to champion a cause. It is a cause and also a pathway that has been terribly degraded and demised in recent times. It is also a pathway and a destination that I hope changes in our society. But at this time in life, in where we live, it is immensely a dangerous environment. And I don't mean it facetiously. I mean it is terribly a risky endeavor. I'm not talking about a... We know somebody who's out of control, okay? We know somebody who's just not physically a specimen of the human species we want to put forward. They know it, okay? Not only that, on a social level, they don't have the social skills available as well. They are not projecting those elements of worth and value and standing within our society. That's true. Not quite true. This is a hot or not scale. All right? This is why I know that hot or not isn't the only criteria. All right? We have 4 different individuals lined up here. And their sole response for getting a relationship, for finding what they want, marriage in this case, they apply what skills? If your only game you have is how hot you are, you're going to be pushing this vector right here. That's awesome. They're going to be hotter, they're more desirable, everything else. Problem is, only these individuals are actually relationship potentials. This is when you're getting tempted to date these people. These people here, nobody wants to be in a relationship with them, and they're not. All right? There's a harsh reality here. The market's responding. If you're not in a relationship and you're just focused on beauty and attraction, you're not going to get here. You can't get there by doing this. You're going to highly amplify your physical presence. All right, think about that for a second. You're going to highly amplify your physical being. Then you're going to act in a hyper-dominant way. Traditionally. This is the traditional form. Not only that, you're going to get aggressive sexually. Let's put all that together really quick. Over-amplify your physical presence. getting socially dominant and aggressive and sexually domineering with people that are not dialed in socially. Anybody see a problem happening here? Anybody see a train wreck? I sure as hell do. All right? It's not just a train wreck. Let's talk about their clientele. What are you going through? Because that's the only thing you guys really care about. You really don't care about what ends up happening there. You actually care about your experience. What are you going to go through? You're going to go through initially a very creepy phase. You put in a little bit of effort, you're going to be a creepy fucking dude. You only put in a small amount of effort, you are going to be creepier than fuck. Okay? Just being honest. Now, nice, there's a degree of reprieve here. See that? Enjoy it. That is beautiful. You're good enough the way you are. You just need to be more beautiful. Remember that sliding bar? You just need to be more beautiful. Not virtuous, more beautiful. What do the women magazines push? Beauty or virtue? Product. That's right. They're not pushing virtue. This sucks. If you're a woman and you're average, it sucks to be you. I'm talking to you. All right? What do? You better woman the fuck up. Really. You need to focus on virtue and learn those skills and apply those skills. Otherwise, you're here. Let's take it a step further. Let's talk about the guys now. Average guy.